We've got a former street worker girl, you know, from Soho, who's now teamed up with me, called Nikki Cooper. I've arrested Nikki Cooper 10 times. She's working with me. She said, John, there used to be an inspector at West End Central Police Station, an inspector, which ties in with my time on Vice, was offering the street girls 500 quid a time to hand a runaway boy or girl over. This is where these kids are ending up. Ian Brady and Moira Henley weren't killing kids for their own gratification. They were part of a satanic cult. Fred and Rose West were Satanists. They were linked in,
and it's like this. Obviously, you've got Epstein now, and that's come to the forefront. Obviously, with Andrew and everything like that. But this seems like it's a global thing.
It's global, and that's Satanism, because he's got a maze. They say there's always a labyrinth. There's always a ritual, right? So, what you've got in the structure of this, at the bottom, you've got spotters. They will go out and they will identify weaknesses in communities, right? So they will prey. This is what I say to so-called men. If you leave your child for selfish reasons, you're not a man, because you're weakening your family. And these spotters are in every swathe of society, and they will look for these single-parent families, the kids' homes, the kids that's always out in the street. They find it, right? Now, the kids are either going to be groomed into it, or they're going to be abducted and they'll die. The groomed kids won't die because they're needed, because they'll be adverse in giving out blowjobs, taking oral sex, anal sex. You know, they're indoctrinated. There'll be time invested in these kids to pleasure in adults and animals. You know, and the spotters then go on to the lookers. The lookers will be keeping the whole eye out for the pitfalls. They'll also have information from their friends in social services, in the police. And they'll be putting an intelligence package together. One woman said that she was a looker, and she was would be based in Elm Guest House. So when a client was there and a young boy, usually a boy, was brought in for a client, so it could be a wealthy Arab, it could be anyone, you know, and we will put out, us little spotters and lookers will put out somewhere on the street, somewhere in windows, and we're looking for any anomalies like police activity or something like that might occur, and if anything went right, it all got pulled, and you know, and the kid went. So they'll be putting all these packages together, right? And then a kid needs to be procured, so that goes to the fixers. The fixers will procure the child. They'll get them from the care home, they'll arrange for an abduction or anything. One of the main fixers, there's 3 levels of fixers, right? 1, 2 and 3. One of the main ones was a bloke called James Saville. Jimmy Saville, Jim will fix it. They're taking the piss. They're taking the piss. You know,
incredible.
I've heard of a well-known, again, I can't say anything, a well-known singer who claims he's innocent, and I can't say any more than that, but he was involved, you know. And
with the Elm House, I remember doing loads of research into that and how that got swept under the mat. And didn't the lady that run the house, she ended up dead? Yeah,
and not only did she end up dead, the care home where they were procuring the children for, they took her children into care and stuck them in that care home, knowing damn well that they would be getting raped. That's what they did to her. Right now, the fixers then lead way to the cleaners. The cleaners will make sure that it's forensically sterile, right? There's nothing. I've been told of a police officer, right, who I know, I've passed the information on, again, to the police complaints. They've done nothing about it, right? This guy is a cleaner. He will go out there and make sure that the crime scene is cleansed. It's not frustrated. We've had one woman would say that her abuse went on in a British Legion club in Buckinghamshire. So if we look at this, she was raped ritualistically. They would hold a satanic ritual in this British Legion club in Buckinghamshire. Right, children, babies were killed in there for the bloodletting. Right, this was all going on. Right, so in order for that to happen, you need to make sure that that venue is made available. You've got to make sure that whoever is a caretaker isn't going to turn up, you know, and say, well, why is the lights on? Why is there cars in the car park?
If you look at all the
sophisticated, the contingency that goes in, you're going to block off a residential street with their cars. So how are they going to get there, right? What about a central station alarm? a motion alarm that's going to have to be disabled. So this is what the cleaner's job will be, and they will have connections with the police and the police national computer, so it doesn't get brought up that there's bizarre activity. You've got to have sentries going out with dogs to make sure that another dog walker doesn't walk in, you know, and all that. And then afterwards, it needs to be cleansed, so there can't be anything.